Welcome to GarageBand for iPad. GarageBand is an excellent app for recording sound or audio. It records any sounds onto separate tracks that can be layered on top of each other on a timeline. We will first look at Apple's File app, as it is the app that organizes our files for all creation type apps. If you already know about the iPad's File app, you can skip forward to the first section called Audio Recorder. If I open the File app, it will take us to a graphic layout of each major app's storage folder, much like a desktop computer. If you look to the left, you will see Files, and below this, Locations. In most cases, your students will store their files automatically on the iPad or on my iPad. Here you will see GarageBand for iOS or iPad with any already created files. There are none, as I store all my files on iCloud Drive or iCloud.com. This allows me the freedom to work with my files on any device. To see this, I will select iCloud Drive, then GarageBand for iOS, where you will see 29 items I've saved in the past. If your students can't find saved work on their iPad, you can direct them to the Files app to help them locate it. I will save any created files on my iPad for this demonstration, as the students have their own iPads. Let's move on to GarageBand for iPad. You will see the various slide-over tabs that show the recording tools and instruments available after starting it up. We will concentrate only on a few features to make the student's first project easy and enjoyable to keep this video short. We will start with a project of 2 students working on reading a snappy dialogue taken from their English language book, Ready. You can use text from anywhere that suits your purpose of encouraging the speaking of English with their iPad. Students will need a set of earphones and a built-in microphone to help this activity work better in a classroom. Here is the text we will use. I will demonstrate 2 recording methods and you will see the benefits of each one. For this, we will start with the audio recorder function. The audio recorder function serves to record audio or spoken text with various filters and effects. I recommend that students don't use any effects for this activity until they understand the goals and purpose of this activity. Effects, if overused, can distort the student's voice to the point of not being understood. The target of speaking clearly, with a moderate volume, and with the best articulation should always be the desired goal. In most student speaking activities, we will set the audio recorder setting to narrator, found by touching the microphone icon in the middle of the screen. Then scroll down to it from within the Vocals tab. Select Done, and you will see several circular adjustments affecting the overall sound. They can be ignored at this stage. An essential aspect of the horizontal timeline must be mentioned at this stage. GarageBand chunks its recordings into 8-bar sections, a musical concept that can be useful or get in the way. Then, after 8 bars have been recorded, it loops back to the first bar and records over what is already recorded. To avoid this, follow these steps for every project. Select the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. Next, touch the 8 bars beside Section A. Activate the automatic slider to eliminate the 8-bar recording restriction. The other important feature to deactivate is the metronome function. To turn the clicking sound off, tap the blue metronome button to disable it. Here is a brief demonstration of the two methods of recording your pairs of students. In the first example, I am going to demonstrate having both students record their dialogue on the same track. Please note that have the students pause after they finish reading their line to allow for the other student to prepare. And this is also good for editing. So let's get started, and I will demonstrate this now. I will only read a portion of the script. Two of every type of animal? That's right. But this space ark is not big enough. Not big enough? That means some animals must stay here. I'll go to the zoo and tell them. Now at this point, your dialogue is blue in color. You can tap it twice on the blue and you'll come up with a menu where you can delete the entire dialogue, or you can split the dialogue into sections so that you can re-record any mistakes by deleting them out. Here's an example of it right here. So I am going to move the timeline cursor, and let's say there was a mistake here. So what you do is you touch and push split, pull down on the scissors, and it is now split. And then I'm going to take out, you've got to mark the end point of the split. So I've moved the cursor and I want it to end here and split. So now we have two sections that you can take, and if you want, you can either delete and it's gone, or undo that. And this is going to give a hint of the next recording method, adding a second track simply by pushing the plus sign on the left side and voice. And again, change your effect down to narrator, and then we're all set to go. Done. Okay, and then you could easily take that and move it down to here. Now we can adjust that, delete it, or record it again. That student could have the opportunity to re-record this at that place. This also has other benefits you'll see by simply you can add effects to this each student so they sound different. So you could do that for this entire dialogue. But let's now go to the second method of recording on a separate track for each student. In the second example, I am going to add another track, and as you can see, this is how I'm doing it, the same way we did in the first time. But instead of selecting narrator, I'm going to select extra singer, because that gives a sort of a fun, thicker sound to the student's voice so they can hear a difference between the two voices. If you were also doing a demo, this would sound good. Let's hear how it sounds. Two of every type of animal? Two of every type of animal? That's right. That's right. But this space ark is not big enough. But this space ark is not big enough. Not big enough? That means some animals must stay here. I'll go to the zoo and tell them. You notice that I had to make sure that narrator was the first speaker, and I selected that and then spoke that part, stopped, Then I moved the cursor to where I wanted the second speaker or the extra singer to begin. So you'll see that part highlighted. And then I recorded that. Then I pushed stop and then switched back to narrator, which is the first track, and so on until I finish the piece. You can pinch and zoom to see all the parts as I've done here and as you see now. So now let's have a little bit of fun and add a third track, which is going to be a music track, and watch what I do. Let's add a third track now, specifically for introducing the students to Apple's loops library, thousands of sampled loops that they have created free of charge and can be downloaded through many different genres of music. So to do this, we must push the plus sign on the upper left side, and that's going to take us back to the audio recorder opening section where you can select not voice but instrument. And it looks pretty much the same, where we have a room that our track is in, and it's an ambience for nice room. If I click on it, you'll see there's different rooms that you can put your sounds in. But for this demonstration, let's keep it at nice room. So from here, we need to go into the loops section. To do that, on the upper left-hand corner, you'll see the tracks icon. Push the tracks icon, and we're now ready to add a specific loop or music that will be looped over the speaking parts. So here we go. The loops is on the right side. It's an icon that looks like a loop, and I will select it, and students can choose the different genres to narrow their search. So for this one, I'm going to choose house. And it gives, again, many 715 items in this specific one to go through. But I've already auditioned Airy Vox Synth by pushing it and listening to it and saying, yes, I think that would be good. It is 4 bars long, so that will be looped probably twice automatically. To move it into the track, you need to push and drag it to where the guitar is, just at the very starting where the number 1, beat 1 is on the track menu. So here we go. So I'm just going to drag it, and you notice you can move it slightly anywhere, but I want to just move it right to the start and release it, and we're all set. So the first thing you're going to say is that it's too loud. So to fix that, you can go to the middle of the left section, and there's a little line here that allows you to change the volume of each of the tracks. So I'm going to reduce the volume to there and close that out. And again, you can raise or lower some of the others if you find them too loud. So let's hear our piece now in its final stages. And don't forget, there's much more you can do to this to make it sound so much better. But for this demo, this is what we will finish with. 2 of every type of animal? That's right. But this space ark is not big enough. Not big enough? That means some animals must stay here. I'll go to the zoo and tell them. 2 of, and we'll stop it there, otherwise it will keep repeating. So just remember that you can adjust each of the tracks. Specifically, if there's something that's hanging on too long, or you want to start a vocal part earlier, such as that one, for instance, you can just drag it closer, and then it will start earlier, or you can drag them further away. So as long as they don't overlap, unless you want them to be closer, such as this one starts right after that one. Okay, so the next important step is to save your work, and to do that, in the upper left-hand corner there is a file sign, and let's click on it, and that will take it. And I've already titled it Noah's Ark, but you can click on that and hold it and rename it to what you want. There's the rename, and I'll stay with Noah's Ark, and we're all set. Thank you so much for watching this video, And I hope that what you learned today can be used in your classroom as soon as possible to excite your students in learning another language, especially mixing it with music and the other areas of the arts. Take the best care. Bye-bye.